Hey gang, welcome back to Sprucing Up the House. I'm Dwight, my partner is John, and he's not here this morning, but we're going to start a project for a customer that gave us a call, and I'm going to explain to you what we're going to be doing here and how we're going to be doing it and the stages in which it's going to get done. All right, so I'm going to turn you around to the job and kind of explain some of the different things that they're concerned about and some of the things that we're going to help take care of. All right, gang. We're on the back porch, the back lanai of these folks' homes, and they bought the home and they're just concerned about the back porch and the way it looks. They want to make more of a living space, someplace they can enjoy. But there's been some things that have been bugging them for a long time, and a lot of it has to do where this sliding glass door is. Okay, as you can see, the builder did not do an exceptional job with the concrete when they pulled the form boards after they did the initial concrete, right? It's kind of a jacked up look. Over here was the same way, but it was sticking out. So I just a minute ago went through and chipped a lot of that concrete off of, and I'll tell you why in just a minute why I did that, because this is going to be a multi-step process, right? And a lot of these homes, the builders are using these 4x8 sheets of James Hardie panels. They're very good products, but the problem you run into is when they butt them up and they have these seams, right? And sometimes the builders will turn the 2x6s underneath sideways and you have a nice mating surface, but sometimes they leave them at in line, so you only have about 1.5 inches. So but this house has it turned sideways, so we got a lot of room to play there. But what we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the whole house, but we're going to start with the lanai. Is we're going to go through and we're going to batten these seams. We're going to take Hardie strips and put it right over the top of those seams from the upper ledger board all the way down to a secondary ledger board that we put in. Now, we're going to do that. We're going to put in the trim boards. And then of course we'll have pieces cut from above the windows and doors and stuff, so it all looks really cool. You'll see that here. I'll shoot that next. But before we do the bottom portion, they're going to have a epoxy company come in and they're going to epoxy this floor. It's going to look really nice. I've seen the color. And then after that's all done and we're able to walk on it again, we're going to come in and completely finish this bottom with trim boards. So all of this stuff that you see down here concrete wise, again, it's structurally sound. I've checked it out. There's nothing wrong. It's just a kind of ugly looking. So we're going to go through and we're going to go ahead and cover that up with some trim boards and make it look really nice. Paint it all up. It's going to look super after that. All right. And we'll probably fill some of that in as well. Some of those little chunks I don't really care for, so we'll probably fill maybe a lot of that in with some epoxy, some silicone, just to kind of take up the gap. It's not absolutely necessary, but we will do it just because that's the way we like to do things. But you can see that little seam above the window there. That'll have a piece put in, a batten piece. There's a couple of them. There's one right here above the sliding glass door. So it'll all match. It'll all be painted, okay? We're going to try to make some different things for around the receptacles to kind of clean them up a little bit too, because they get, they're kind of just sticking out of the wall. So we'll be going around those with some Hardie trim products, I believe. And also columns. These columns, they're covered with Hardie. That's a 6x6 in there, and then they cover it with the Hardie trim, but they don't do anything else. They don't finish it. They don't put a cap on it. They don't put a base, kind of a baseboard down there. They don't do that. So we're going to be doing that, but those are going to be after they epoxy the floor. So as you can see, this is going to be a multi-step process. It's probably going to take a few weeks, but I'm going to do this video ongoing so you'll be able to see the step-by-step. We'll have some batten up today. I'll reshoot some of that so you guys can kind of see how that looks and how that's going to work out. Some caulking. We got to caulk everything. We're going to be painting everything. So all that's going to be in some of the next videos, next segment of this video. Then the epoxy floor, we'll see them doing that. And then we'll see us finishing the trim around the base of around the floor wall connection right there. So I think it's going to be a pretty slick job. It's going to completely change the look of this. We are changing the color out here, not the rest of the house, but out here in the lanai, they want to make it kind of a fun green called drizzle. It matches their front door. So it'll be a kind of a cool, fun place, hangout place. Put up a TV, have some nice parties. They got a pizza oven right here, so that's going to be kind of a fun time. So anyway, we're going to try to help them make this house more fun and functional, which is what we do, and we really enjoy helping folks. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, folks, before we just cut these two pieces, our first two pieces that we cut, we got our measurements. I estimated down on the bottom where the trim board was going to go, so I was able to mark it down there and cut these accordingly because they'll get bumped to the existing trim right down the seam to my mark that I have at the lower side down there. And then after the floor is epoxied, we'll be able to take our trim board and run it right across there, caulk everything, and fully paint everything. But let me just show you guys something a little bit more detailed. One of the reasons we want to batten, this is Hardie, James Hardie product, the same trim product that's already on most houses. It's a cementatious board. Comes in 12-foot sections, and we have to cut it down to whatever it is we need. Okay, this is 3.5 inches wide. But what it does, it's going to cover up. These seams here aren't in bad shape, but there's some on this house that do have a little split in the caulk joint and everything. And because of that, you can get moisture intrusion into your house. It weakens that joint, starts playing with the humidity levels in your house. So by doing this, and before we paint, we'll go through and caulk all this existing stuff as well. We'll make sure everything's super, super tight. Look for any holes. Let me see if I can, there's one right here. Just from when they built the house, we'll caulk all those, and we'll make sure this house is solid. Any exposed nail heads will get treated appropriately. And then once we caulk and paint, one, it'll look like $1,000,000. It'll change the entire look, make it look very coastally. It'll also make it stronger during heavy wind loads, you know, that sort of thing. Our climate and weather in Florida can be a little harsh sometimes. These batten strips will help strengthen the house a little bit and also keep moisture out. Okay. All right, gang, we got our first 2 batten strips up. Again, this is Hardie trim. It's called 5/4, which is 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay, we have our nails in. These are galvanized finish nails, sunk down a little bit with our nail gun. We've got 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and 1 every foot running right down the center to make sure we hit that wood square on. These are on here super tight. They are not going anywhere. And then of course they'll be caulked on both edges, and then everything's painted. Every connection point will be caulked. So these 2 are done. I just did my level. So after the epoxy floor gets done, I can run that cross piece around there, and I'll cut it at an angle to match the floor. We'll fill in some of that junky concrete work with something, I'm not sure yet what, but we'll make sure it looks nice. But it's going to be covered up anyways. Nothing structurally wrong with it, just kind of looks terrible. But we're going to be covering that up with a nice board, and that'll happen all the way around the base. So the next step is to go ahead and get some of these smaller pieces cut and just kind of finish putting up this Hardie. All right, gang, before we show you the finished product and go over everything we completely did, I wanted to show you kind of how the houses are originally made, so you have a concept of why we like to do the things that we do and why folks maybe employ us to do it. This is the Hardie panels we talk about. They're 4x8 sheets, 4 foot wide by 8 feet tall, right? And they're kind of butted up against each other along a 2x6 that sits sideways. But where the concern comes in is this. Now this joint is going to be caulked. No worries, that's caulking is good. But that's an awful wide joint to be just caulking, all right? And you'll see that throughout the entire structure of the house. You'll see it here, and you'll see it here, okay? So again, after a couple of years or so, that caulk will split, and that's just moisture intrusion possibilities, right? So let's go inside and see how they set the actual 4x8 panels. And it's actually good because back in the old days, I'll say, they never used to turn 2x6s sideways. Now this is just to shim it out for the wall, the strand board, but you'll see the 2x6s set sideways, and that is where the joint is. So that's very good. So because what they used to do is just use 2x4s like that, zero ability to join them. But you have the moisture barrier on the inside, and your insulation, then your sheetrock. But by allowing those joints to open up the way they do, I mean, you're just allowing moisture to come in, right? Not that it can't 100% come in, but it has that possibility. By battening the house, let me turn you guys around. By battening the house like we're talking about doing, it really just secures the house the best you can make it. So anyway, back to this. Let me show you the finished product. All right, gang, I thought we would just do a little mid-video demo of what this is starting to look like. You can see all the batten we've installed, all the Hardie trim. Those are the 2 original pieces that we put up, and everything's been caulked in. Everywhere there's a contact point between different pieces, it's been caulked in. Nail heads all caulked. Been through and caulked a lot of the old builder caulk that that wasn't really nice anymore and it was starting to split. We use hot dip galvanized nails. That's what Hardie requires in their product. So that's all those little, every piece has been nailed with hot dip galvanized finishing nails. It's 2-inch nails, 16 gauge 2-inch nails. We haven't painted the white yet, but that's coming. But you can see this is called Drizzle. It matches their front door. It's going to make this a really fun. So they wanted to set up their furniture to kind of start getting an idea of what it's going to look like. And the way the sun is really pretty. This floor is going to be epoxy. Then again, like you guys know, we're going to finish those trim pieces on the bottom. But we also went ahead and made some trim pieces for that receptacle that was looking kind of ugly sticking out there. Went through and caulked all inside there where the receptacle sits. Again, everything's caulked and nice, and you know, we make things as watertight as we can. We still have to paint the white yet, but that's coming. Oh, real quick, which also really cool we did, hopefully the sun doesn't get us, let me turn the camera this way if you guys can see. Up on the top of there, we put those trim pieces, kind of finishes it up a little bit. Everything's again caulked and painted, made super weather tight. And when the floor is done, we'll go through and do the base the same way. Put probably taller ones in. It gives it more body. Okay. All right, gang. The finished product. You guys saw the beginning, the middle. Now you're going to see the end. It's all painted with 2 coats of Sherwin-Williams super paint. This is called Drizzle. This is the same as their front door. All the battens are up. Let me back up. We're going to try to take you around the porch and kind of show you everything. We got lots of stuff still on the porch that they own. We don't want it out in the weather, but all of the battens, the vertical battens, are in. All of the horizontal baseboard is in, and these were all cut to the contour of the porch with a little bit of gap, because we want to be able to clean it off under there, and you don't want water to set underneath there or get trapped. They also had the porch epoxied, so that worked out super well. We worked it, we custom cut everything around what was already here, pre-existing. You can see it's all real nice, and again, follow the contours and the angles. The concrete here was not in the best shape, so we made a whole custom piece. This piece, as well as some of these others, have shims behind them to keep them flat and right up against the concrete. All right, so that's all been secured, looks real nice. Okay, coming up, we trimmed, of course, with the white. All the white got repainted as well. And over here on the window, let me back up so you can see this whole area. I apologize for bumping around. We got outdoor furniture still sitting in here, or sitting in here. Trimmed out the receptacle. Again, did that nice baseboard. Everything looks really nice. Coming over, we did the columns as well. You can see we did the upper part of the column. Put a nice little cap around it. And now, after the floor got done, we did the base. Put a nice 5.5-inch base there. And also on this one over here, we did that as well. Again, I apologize for all the furniture being in the way, but we got that, and of course the cap here. So all in all, this project came out super nice. The folks are super happy with it. It's now a room that they can use and not kind of just be dirty all the time. And the epoxy will help keep all that clean, so it's easy to clean. So all right, gang, I hope you guys have enjoyed the little video of the start to finish of battening up the porch here. And man, what a transformation. It is amazing. The folks could not be happier. We're so pleased that they're happy. We took our time. It took a little longer than we anticipated because they wanted to do the floor and get that all done. So we had some rain, so we wanted to make sure we didn't paint in the rain. But no, it came out really well. It's a usable space now. They can enjoy this view right behind me. And so we were pleased to call them friends now. So if John and I can give you guys a hand with this kind of project, batting the entire house, doing some things inside the house to make it fun and functional, please give us a shout out and we'll come out and chat with you and see what you're trying to accomplish, and let's see if we can do something together. Okay, anyway, have a great day. We do appreciate you.